this is a bit different from what we planned.
Yes.
I think we were hoping that we'd be in the same room doing you playing saxophone and me twiddling knobs.
Yeah.
But you're in London and I'm in Aberdeen, so it's quite interesting what we've been doing in that you've been recording the pieces down there and then you've been sending them back to me and I've been adding the electronics on top. So it's been quite fun, hasn't it?
Yeah. Loved it. Actually, really interesting. Genuinely, very, very interesting.
Yeah, it's a different way of doing it, but yeah. So the first piece in the program is my piece "Squirt," which I wrote in 1994 for alto saxophone and electronics. And well, I'll just say a little bit about it, and then maybe you can just come in with something. Um, it's called "Squirt" because it actually takes that gesture of the saxophone kind of squirting the sound into the air. And it's great when you do it in a live performance because you get the feeling of filling the space where the audience is in with the air that's come from the squirt. It's a bit different what we're going to be doing today and what people are going to be seeing, seeing. But that's the idea. There are lots of squirt gestures. The first gesture in the piece is actually a squirt, if you like. The other influence in the piece is Jackson Pollock and the ink-blown drawings of Henri Michaud. So this idea of squirting something out there and then smearing it is really quite important throughout the piece. So there'll be lots of squirting and smearing gestures that the audience will hear.
Top piece, right. Pete. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. So here we are. Here's Squirt. So the next piece on the concert is another piece by me, but this time it's purely electroacoustic. So it's made entirely using software and computers, and so no instruments. The piece is it's called Clermont Horns, and it fits in with the Sound Festival's theme of horn as an endangered instrument, which we're featuring this year in the Sound Festival. My piece is made entirely of a recording that I made in Clermont-Ferrand in France. It's one single recording I made in November 2018. I was standing in the city centre, and I heard in the distance these car horns, quite a lot of car horns. In fact, I didn't realize how many car horns it was going to be. It turned out to be literally hundreds, because I didn't realize that this was the first weekend of the Gilets jaunes demonstrations in France. And a lot of people had got into their cars and decided that they were just going to drive through the city centre honking their horns. This is a wonderful thing to hear and to listen to. So fortunately, I had my recording device with me. So I made a recording and then took that into the studio and made the piece that you're going to hear today, which is called Clermont Horns. So, Richard, tell us about the third piece in the program.
The third piece was originally for solo soprano saxophone. It's called Waves in Watercolor. It's a piece I recorded several years ago, and the title is really a homage to the fabulous studio where I've done a lot of work with engineer, producer Nick Turner. And it's a free improvisation inspired quite a lot by saxophonist Evan Parker and his techniques that I used to listen to many, many years ago. And it's basically sound waves produced by the soprano saxophone using kind of false fingerings. So the idea is that through whatever it is, the 4 minutes of the piece, you never actually hear a true tone. Because of the cross fingerings, you get all sorts of strengthened partials that you wouldn't normally get with normal sounds, and there's a few other extended techniques. And then you and I thought it'd be a fantastic idea if you messed around with it. And so if I recorded it and sent it to you, and you did a similar routine on treating it, and it's just a really exciting process, which I approve.
Thank you. So what we were going to do, of course, is be in the same space, and I would have been capturing your sounds of the saxophone, and then with live electronics, actually manipulating there and then in the space, and then both the sounds coming out of the loudspeaker. So to get as close to that as possible, rather than when you sent me the improvisation, rather than me spending a long time trying to work with a soundscape to put underneath it, I decided to limit myself to no more than half an hour, so I could try and get some more spontaneity into it. And I obviously just used the sounds that you'd produced, but I kind of captured them and took them and then did various processes with them that involved a lot of moving the mouse almost in an instrumental way around a screen and a piece of software. So basically I capture your sounds and then move them around through pitch, through time, and through space as well. And hopefully the whole thing comes together as a kind of extended saxophone piece, if you like.
Yeah.
Anyway, here it is, Waves in Watercolor.
Thank you, Pete.
So the final piece in the program is Dennis Smalley's Gradual. And there's quite a nice story to this one, Richard.
There is. So Dennis Smalley's Gradual was written in 1974, and I actually gave the first performance of this a long time ago when I was an undergraduate at York University in the music department there, and Dennis Smalley was a postgraduate researcher and composer, spending a lot of time in the electronic music studio, for which he's become world renowned ever since. And I guess he must have heard me doing quite a lot of free improvisation and experimenting with sounds on clarinet and bass clarinet, and quite a new instrument then, the trombophone. And he asked me if I would play this piece, and it was actually a great thrill. So I spent a lot of time in the studio with him recording all sorts of like basic sounds from the clarinet, the bass clarinet, and the trombophone. Then he went away and created this amazing piece, which requires those three instruments live. So it's a huge pleasure to come back to it after 37 years and do another performance. In fact, I've got a note in my diary that I'm going to do another performance in another 37 years.
Right. Wonderful. And I've known Dennis for many years. I grew up, and in fact, his was some of the first electroacoustic music that I heard as a student. And when I was at university, I heard a recording of this piece by Dennis, and within this piece, there is a quite a well-known piece of electroacoustic music by Denis called Pont, and there are a number of extracts from Pont that appear in this piece as well. So it's great to revisit this in a slightly different way, but this is a sound world that I know really, really well. Yeah, it's great. It's great to have brought this together 37 years after its first performance. Okay, yeah. So here we go. Denis Smalley's Gradual.